Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 7th of May 2021. A few videos ago I was trying to make sense of just how many people were in London on the 24th, trying to sort of guess at the numbers, and I made a little video about that. And during that video I kind of mentioned the fact that I'd been to a Wembley FA Cup final many years ago, and it's only after I'd mentioned that and I was thinking in my own head that it occurred to me that this whole situation we're in now, where we're kind of the underdogs, we're supporting the underdogs, the establishment and the media are against us. And I thought to myself, I've been here before, you know. And it was during the 80s, and the cup final I'm talking about is the 1988 one, where Wimbledon beat Liverpool 1-0. Now, back in the 80s, I supported Wimbledon, and I kind of grew up around the Croydon area, although I live in Sussex now. But when you're in Croydon, you either support Crystal Palace or Wimbledon. And that was back when they were actually in Wimbledon in Plough Lane, so which they're not anymore, but that's a whole nother story. And it was fantastic because Wimbledon had risen up from nothing, very much in the lower divisions, rapidly up into the first division, which is the equivalent of the Premiership now, but it was just called the First Division back then. And so they'd come out of nothing, so they'd done pretty well just to get into the First Division. But when they were in the First Division, they started beating the likes of Manchester United, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Tottenham, Arsenal, and all these big teams on a very, very regular basis. And it seemed almost weekly that they were sort of claiming a big scalp. And the other bone of contention was, for many people, and there's a lot of people who didn't like the fact that they were a small team claiming all these big scalps, but they also played a very physical game where they played the long ball, just involved sort of booting the ball all the way down the field and hoping one of your big strong lads can get on the end of it and knock it into the net. Probably not the most skillful way of playing, you know. It's not the beautiful game of passing all the way down and scoring a fantastic goal like the likes of Manchester United and Liverpool would do. But it was highly effective, and it won Wimbledon a lot of games, and it won us a cup final as well. And we're talking back in the days of the crazy gang, Carlton Fairweather, John Fashanu, Laurie Sanchez, Dave Beesant, and of course Vinnie Jones, which is where he actually came from before he started acting. He played for Wimbledon. Yeah, and it was fantastic to see them beating all these big teams. But boy, oh boy, did the sporting establishment hate it. They absolutely hated it. And the media, the sporting media, would often report very negatively on Wimbledon, sort of say that they were sort of playing sort of dirty, sort of focused on fouls and things, and they weren't that dirty, sort of not really much more dirty than sort of most other teams really, but the media would focus on that and kind of do Wimbledon down and kind of play down the victories as well. Don't know if that's starting to sound familiar to you in today's context, but I'm spotting a pattern here. It's really how the establishment and the media seems to work when they don't like something, isn't it? So I'd really almost forgotten about that until I mentioned in my last video or previous video about that cup final, and then it came flooding back, and I thought, yeah, I've been in this position of being against the media, or having the media and the establishment against something I'm into and something I support. And I could see I saw way back then just how kind of vicious they can be. Now, I know it's, compared to what we have going on now, it is a fairly non-serious thing really, and it's a lot more serious and deadly now. But this just goes to show you, doesn't it, that this sort of thing has been going on for decades. The media and the establishment have been doing this for decades, and that's just another little example for you, regardless of whether you like Wimbledon or not. It's just a little example of how the establishment and the media work. And by the way, if you're a Liverpool supporter, sorry to be going on about that cup final in 1988, but hey, it's 33 years ago, and let's face it, you've done a lot better than we have in the intervening years. So just thought I'd share that with you. Really interesting parallels. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.